absolutely gorgeous day for baseball here this afternoon at Busch Stadium in St. Louis as the 9-game homestand comes to a close, and the Cardinals look for a sweep against Milwaukee. The Redbirds a season high 24 games above the 500 mark. John Smoltz, last time out Friday night against Washington, a couple of ovations, also a few strikeouts along the way as he picked up the win, and Smoltz has been nearly perfect in his time in St. Louis thus far. That's Al, I'm Dan, and welcome to Day Baseball as we get you set. Moments away from our first pitch as 42-year-old John Smoltz will take to the hill. Always fun to watch him pitch, isn't it?
It is fun to watch him pitch. The way he's pitching right now, wearing the Cardinal uniform. He's also pitched very well against Milwaukee. He's 3-0 against them. But here's his numbers. What a turnaround. Since he's come to Boston, look at the change in that ERA from 8+ to under 1, and he's really pitched that well.
And this is the kind of game that Tony La Russa always talks about, having that killer instinct, going for a sweep and trying to close out the homestand with a win.
Yeah, they've had a great homestand, but you can make it nearly perfect. 9 games with a victory here today. It'll be 8 wins in that 9 games homestand.
And a big reason the Cardinals, of course, in first place, Matt Holliday. A look at Holliday when we come back on the Fox Sports Midwest Spotlight. That's next. Picked by the Rockies in 1998, the 29-year-old outfielder has made a huge impact on the St. Louis Cardinals for the stretch drive. Along with Albert Pujols, those two have made one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball in the middle of the Redbirds lineup. Like Skip Schumacher has done, Holliday works out in the offseason with former Cardinal Mark McGwire to fine-tune his swing. Those two were introduced by Mike Gallego.
Probably the thing that stood out the most was what a great guy he was, and just how easy to talk to he is, and how a really, really considerate friend. You know, he helped me with some of the mental part of the game, and just trying to be real short to the ball, I think was his biggest message. Was something he learned of his career was the shorter he could be to the ball, the more consistent he could be. And, just talking about really watching tape and being mentally ready for every at-bat and every pitch.
July 27th this season was a moment that many won't forget who followed the Cardinals. Matt Holliday made his home debut in front of a packed house at Busch Stadium against the Dodgers. The Cardinal fans made him feel at home.
You try to take it in, but at the same time, you're also trying to make sure that you're doing your routine to get ready for the at-bat. And so, obviously, it was pretty awesome. And, just any time it gives you the chills to get that kind of ovation. And, but then, you're trying to lock right back in to make sure that, you have a good at-bat and try to do something to help the team win. And luckily got a double, and, that was a great moment.
The big question surrounding the Cardinals and Holliday is whether or not he will re-sign with the club. So far, his time during this stretch run has been memorable.
I'd obviously love it here, and all those things will take care of themselves probably at a later time. My time here has been great so far, and it's obviously a fantastic place to play and a part of the country that I'm familiar with. And I'm excited to be here, and hopefully it'll work out.
That's Cardinals outfielder Matt Holliday, a three-time All-Star, three-time Silver Slugger winner, and former runner-up MVP in 2007 on the Fox Sports Midwest Spotlight. Afternoon, possibly for a sweep. We'll start with 42-year-old John Smoltz.
John Smoltz pitched well against Milwaukee's 3-0. You see his lifetime numbers, and he's kept the big boppers, just 2 for 13, Fielder and Braun. Manny Parr on the other side, he's pitched extremely well against the Cardinals. Hasn't had much success against anybody else, but he has had the Cardinals number. And Casey McGee, he's had the Cardinals number in this series. 6 RBIs, 4 for 8 for the young third baseman, maybe Rookie of the Year. Brendan Ryan, great defense all the time, but look at his average against Parra, 444. And Skip Schumacher, what a night last night. He was 4 for 4, 2 RBIs, couple runs scored, and was on base all 5 times.
So here we go. That's your 5 and 55. A beautiful day for baseball here in St. Louis as we edge closer to our first pitch. The Brewers and Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. only one loss for the Cardinals. Today, they have a chance to make it a great homestand with a sweep over the Milwaukee Brewers. Last night, the Cardinals batted around in the second, and that was more than enough for Cardinals co-ace Chris Carpenter. Redbird second baseman Skip Schumacher set the tone with a 4-hit night, and it was more of the same from sluggers Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday contributing to the hit parade. 42-year-old John Smoltz will take to the hill this afternoon. In 2 starts with the Cardinals, his ERA sits at under 1 as he prepares for another trek into the postseason. It's the final game of the homestand, and this afternoon the Cardinals are looking for another sweep. Day baseball in America's heartland. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Milwaukee Brewers, next on Fox Sports Midwest. With just the right taste, it never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. By Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Now, this was at 10 o'clock this morning, and they are fixing the A in Big Mac Land, so that'll be ready to go when we come back on our next homestand, which will be 9 games again. But at 10 o'clock, fixing the A in Big Mac Land. Big crowd expected once again here this afternoon as the Redbirds look for a sweep over the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cardinals edging closer to one of the top records, not just in the National League, but in all of baseball. And John Smoltz will face this lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, and let's take a look. Not many have given him fits, but one that has. Their leadoff man, Craig Counsell, who's 8 for 16 against Smoltz. Catalanado was busy in right last night. Then Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder, Casey McGee, Mike Cameron, Mike Rivera, Escobar, the shortstop, and Manny Parra, who has struggled this season, but as Al told you, at times very good against the Cardinals. Marshall Wild, the starter. Now, these are the season numbers for John Smoltz with Boston and St. Louis, and he's 3-5.
Throw those away because he's been a different pitcher wearing the Cardinal uniform, 1-0 in his 11 innings of pitch, only 1 run allowed. And John Smoltz, the future Hall of Famer, really has given this team another shot in the arm.
He was talking about one of his goals today, get deeper in the game. We'll see. Holiday, Anfield, and Ludwig in the outfield. DeRosa, Ryan, Lugo, and Pujols on the infield. And the battery is John Smoltz and Yadier Molina. It's our Cardinals defense presented by Auto Tire. And even John Smoltz said he did not envision this kind of start. 11 innings, 1 run, 15 strikeouts so far for the future Hall of Famer.
And you're right about him wanting to go deeper in the game. Even in his first start, when he went 5 innings, he felt like he still had more in the tank. And by his own admission, he goes, I don't even think the minimum I ever consider as a starter is 7 innings pitched.
Found it interesting on the pregame show as Ken Maka looks on. They were talking about John Smoltz, and a couple of nights ago, Cal Eldred talked to John about postseason baseball, and he said he's most relaxed in the postseason, even as opposed to the regular season, and that's why he's, at least one of the reasons he's had those great numbers.
That's right, 15 wins, the most ever in postseason, but it makes sense for a guy like him, big game pitcher, money pitcher. You know, at that time when other people succumb to the pressure is when he excels.
Cardinals at 79 and 55 at the start of play today, and Milwaukee is at 64 and 68. Craig Counsell 8 for 16 against Smoltz, and he pulls that foul. One thing that he's done very well this season is the triples. He has a career high 8 triples this season, which ties him for 5th in the National League. And with the injuries they've had up the middle, also at third base, Counsell has probably played a little bit more than the Brewers expected.
Exactly right. And remember, he's got a bad knee, so they didn't know if he'd be able to hold up for the course of the season, and he has.
That pitch taken a little bit low and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Brewers head back home after the day game this afternoon, and the Cardinals head back out on the road with Pittsburgh, and then we'll see Milwaukee next Monday at Miller Park. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Counsell hits it in the air. Shortstop Brendan Ryan on the outfield grass, shading with his glove and the glasses, and puts it away for the first out.
See right there how tough this sky will be as he was really fighting it. A few clouds, but they look like they're out in the distance.
You could have used a few of these days when you were playing on the turf at the old Busch Stadium.
Oh, this would have been a luxury.
Man.
Day games there, particularly Sunday afternoon, 140, 145 degrees.
And that's a strike to Frank Catalanato. Boy, he was busy last night, wasn't he, in right field? He was all over the place.
He was running all over the place, and he finally did make a nice play as he got to 1 ball. But with the Cardinals' 16-hit attack, a lot of them went to his left, right, in front of him, or over his head.
There were 7 Cardinal base hits last night that Catalanato was a part of, with base hits into right field or right center. Here's a ground ball hit to Brendan Ryan. Bobbles it, stays with it, and makes the play.
Little juggling act right there, but makes the play.
My question to you with Ryan Braun, and he has killed the Cardinals before in his career, but this year, he's been held in check for the most part. How have you seen the Cardinals approaching pitching to this big-time slugger?
I don't see that they've done anything different other than their execution. And I think the fact, I always talk about how effective you are when you pitch inside. You pitch inside for effect, and then you can, you get a guy conscious of the inside part of the plate, and then you can get him out away.
Good start here for Smoltz, and that's a base hit into right. That was a pitch away. Good piece of hitting there by Braun, and it's a 2-out base hit. Brings in Fielder.
Early in the count.
Right. Take a look at the swing here, Brian Braun.
Oh, he's 99 career home runs, and remember, this is only his 3rd season, but didn't get that one far enough away. But it was a first pitch, so we'll watch that in his next at bat, see if they start him out a little differently.
Prince Fielder, the only Brewer to appear in every game. All starts at first base and batting cleanup for Milwaukee. 2 outs and a runner at first, as he has put up terrific numbers this year, hitting 300. 36 homers, 119 RBIs for the 2009 home run champ, and against Smoltz, he's 1 for 8 with a homer and a strikeout.
With Boston, Smoltz really had a lot of trouble with left-handed batters. That has not been the case wearing the Cardinal uniform. They're only batting a shade over 200, and I think a lot of that has to do with the mechanical flaw that he discovered throwing across his body.
The Cardinals also have talked about Smoltz tipping pitches. Now, Smoltz is not going to tell you what the Cardinals picked up in video in his starts with Boston. Also, Chris Carpenter picked some things up in a side session, but he feels that he's got that corrected as well. So 2 outs, runner at first, 1 ball, 1 strike. Just underway here at Busch Stadium. Outfield is very deep.
Interesting is John Smoltz told one of the Milwaukee broadcasters that, you know, Oakland really knew all of his pitches. And Milwaukee, because the hitting coach for the A's now is a former hitting coach for Milwaukee. So Bill Schroeder on your left there, he called Scanlon, the hitting coach, and he said we didn't know anything.
A strikeout for Smoltz, the servicemen before the game. A number of them in attendance. We thank them for their service. No score after a half inning. The lineup card for both sides. Tony La Russa puts together, making sure everything is right before they hand it back into the umpires right before our first pitch. We've seen that messed up before, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
So double check that. Lugo, Ryan, and Pujols, Holiday, Ludwig, DeRosa, Molina, Ankiel, and Smoltz. That's the lineup for the Cardinals.
You know, simple little things, but it can cost you a game.
All of a sudden, you protest and things can change in a hurry.
I mean, someone hit out of order. Manny Parr has really been up and down season, been back to the minor leagues, but he always pitches well against the Cardinals. That high ERA, he's really struggled on the road. It's over 7 on the road.
And here's an 0-1 pitch to Lugo. 1 ball, 1 strike. Julio Lugo at second base today. Skip Schumacher. That's tough. You have a 4-hit night, and you have a seat when the lefty's on the mound. But that's the luxury that the Cardinals have right now.
Yeah, and I think Skip understands. And one thing about this ball club, very close-knit group of guys, and when you're not in a lineup, you're pulling for the guy that replaces you, and that spare part is doing the same for you when you start.
That's pulled foul. 2-2.
And the Cardinal team are having a lot of fun right now, and the only way for that to happen for Tony La Russa team is to be winning.
Manny Parr last time out had leads of 5-0, 6-2, 8-4. But let the Pirates hang around on Friday. 6 runs on 10 hits and 4 walks. Although the Brewers hung on to win that game. Parr improved to 6-2 over his last 8 starts, even though his ERA is around 7 in that time.
Right. You mentioned 9 games against the Cardinals. He's 1-1 with a 3.17 ERA. 1-0 right here with ERA under 3.
Lugo in the air out to left field. Braun will look up, and it's gone. Julio Lugo. 3rd home run of this season. His second with the Cardinals. And Julio puts the Cardinals on top 1-0 here in the first.
Oh, those numbers were before we got Lugo and Holiday and DeRosa. Looks like they're set up inside, and he does not get the ball. Reaching up and away is the catcher. And Lugo just drives that ball. A lot of times his power is to right center. This time he hits it into the visitors' bullpen in left center.
Brendan Ryan hitting .290 with a couple of home runs and 28 RBIs. There's a strike. Andy Parra, 19-19 in his career with an ERA over 5, but it seems like when we see him, he's much better than that.
Absolutely.
Brendan Ryan with a fly ball out to the former Gold Glover Mike Cameron, who puts it away. That brings in Albert. Go back to Lugo here.
Now see, look at the catcher. He sets up inside, but his glove is moving up and out over the middle of the plate, and obviously missing his target, and he pays for it.
387 feet, the distance of that home run, and here's Albert Pujols with one out. A strike at the knees. Matt Holliday is on deck. Holliday, by the way, 2 hits and an RBI last night. And while Pujols may win the MVP this year, since Holliday has arrived in St. Louis, leads the club in home runs, RBIs, hits, batting average, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, with a guy like Pujols in your lineup, and someone is actually, for the last month, out-hit Albert.
And Albert having a sensational year. Many considers by far the leading candidate for his 3rd MVP award. Can you imagine Albert locked up for a few more years? But if you could put Holiday together with him, see that day in and day out, year after year.
Cardinals, since Holiday came aboard, 27-9. Major League best since July 24th, and that was a strike on Albert, 3-2.
And this team really has gelled together. Last night we really saw for the first time the offense all come together.
A walk to Pujols with one out, brings in Holiday. I was thinking the other night, you know, we talked so much about Carpenter and Wainwright, the 1-2 punch that they are in the rotation for the Cardinals. But then you start thinking about the best 1-2 punch in baseball in the middle of your lineup, and certainly Holiday and Pujols would be right there with anybody in the game.
Yes.
Now, statistically, Braun and Fielder might be better, but you know, they'd be in the conversation at least.
Yeah, I mean, they have the most RBIs.
That's up the middle and a base hit. Pujols to second. He'll stop there as Parra almost got it over his glove, and a single from Matt Holliday. And 3 of the first 4 have reached. Braun, Cameron, and Catalanato in the outfield. McGee, Escobar, Counsell, and Prince Fielder over at first. Parra and Rivera. The Brewers defense presented by Auto Tire. So base hit for Matt Holliday. Here's Ludwig. Ludwig did not start last night. Came off the bench and delivered a base hit and an RBI.
Now, if you take the trio.
Here's a grounder. That's a base hit. Pujols being waved in. Braun comes up firing. Not in time. Albert scores to make it 2-0 here in the first. RBI number 81 for Ludwig.
Hitting is contagious. What a formula. You have your starting pitcher go out, shut down the opposition to first. You ask your teammates to give you a little bit of a cushion, and this ball club is responding. Only one out here. They've already got 3 hits, a walk, and 2 runs on the board.
You know, the Phillies' middle of that lineup is awfully tough, especially at the beginning of the season when Ibanez was rolling along to an all-star season. He had Utley, of course, and Howard, and now Smoltz has himself a 2-run lead. There's Carpenter on the left, who picked up the win last night.
If you look at Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig combined, they have 274 RBIs. If you put Holiday's total season numbers.
Mark DeRosa had a couple of base hits, including a double, 2 RBIs, hits in 15 of his last 23 games. We forget about DeRosa.
Yeah, that's right.
2 runners on and 1 out. 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Detroit, top of the 6th, leading their game with Cleveland 1-0. White Sox and the Cubs, a makeup game, and they're just underway. That's in the bottom of the 1st, and no score. Here's the 0-2 to DeRosa. A swing and a miss.
Like Holiday had at least a thought and wanted to steal on that pitch.
Looked like DeRosa was looking back at Holiday, too.
Got distracted.
So first strikeout for Manny Parra, and here's Molina. With all these big bats, we forget about Yachty as well, being a very tough out. His average at 288, 5 home runs. He's driven in 46. Couple of doubles last night for Molina. 3-hit game. Also had an RBI single on Tuesday, which tied the game, and out to visit again is Rivera.
And Maka usually feels that his team can score, but he's had trouble with his pitching all season long, and primarily with his starting rotation.
We saw last night that their bullpen just didn't seem as sharp as when we saw them, and they went 18-10 in the month of May, and that was a strong suit. But that's a byproduct of their starters just not going deep into games, and by the time that final month rolls in September, bullpens can be fried.
Yeah, they're fried, and a couple of his guys down there, but you're hoping for the reinforcements to kind of get a shot of adrenaline. But obviously those guys are minor leaguers replacing, pretty quality setup guys that are worn out.
And on the hands of Molina, Giovanni Gallardo has been their ace this year, but he's closing in on 3,000 pitches. Only 23. Ken Maka is saying that they want to be very cautious with him, so they've given him a couple of extra days rest, and in doing so, Cardinals don't face him in this series and will not face him Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of next week.
You got to be realistic. Milwaukee's 14 games behind the Cardinals and have no chance in the wild card, so you better be conservative with your future.
Molina in the air to right center. Cameron was playing that way and makes the catch. Cardinals pick up 2. RBI by Ludwig, his 81st. 3rd home run for Lugo. Smoltz and the Cardinals lead it. saves with 6. I would imagine John Smoltz was very close in Atlanta with Ned Yost. And Ned Yost, of course, fired at the very end of last season. Ned Yost was with the Atlanta Braves for a number of seasons with Bobby Cox. And you'd have to figure that those two got to know each other quite well over the years, Al.
I would think so, and I haven't heard anything about Ned Yost and what he's doing. It'll be interesting to see, as you talked about, the possibility of Smoltz facing the Atlanta Braves and see Bobby Cox's reaction.
Wouldn't that be something?
And if he's nervous during most regular season games, I would think that one would have a little special adrenaline kick to it.
No doubt. Casey McGee has hit quite a series. RBIs with 6 in this series. Molina gets rid of the mask, and that'll find the seats and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McGee certainly will be in that conversation for Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Yeah, he got a late start as all 12 of his home runs have come in his last 60 games. But he is amongst the rookie leaders in just about all offensive categories.
Did play in 9 games last year with the Cubs, and then was claimed by Milwaukee. 2nd strikeout, 2 in a row now for John Smoltz.
And John just looks 42. Just looks like he exerts very little energy. Set up away, a little slider out there, and freezes them. See, in some ways he looks, more relaxed now than even in his prime.
Cameron in the air to shallow right. Ludwig a few steps in to make the catch. Just 2 outs. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at STOCardinals.com for the largest selection of authentic postseason caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get your playoff gear straight from the source, STOCardinals.com. Cardinals put up that crooked number. Now up to Smoltz to shut him down that following inning. So far so good. 2 outs, nobody on. And here's Rivera, who's hitting .238. Kendall with the day off. Looking forward to seeing the guy on deck, Escobar, the shortstop, who's considered one of the best prospects in all of baseball.
He is their #1 prospect in Milwaukee's organization. Look at that swing and a miss.
Roy Halladay's name was mentioned at the deadline, and the Brewers might get involved with that. First name that came up in any big trade involving Milwaukee was Escobar.
Well, you thought about him, and you packaged with Parra.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by John Smoltz. Strikes out 2 in the inning, 3 so far this afternoon. Moltz with our pitch-by-pitch, 3 strikeout pitches brought to you by Chevrolet.
That was breaking ball right there. Gets fielder out away from him. Then he starts going over the right-handed batter. Slider right there, freezes. And then you get Rivera to swing wildly at another pitch off the plate.
So those sliders, and they're looking very good. He's talked about the slider being much better in his last start and improving that from the first start. We're seeing that here today. A breaking ball taken low and away by Ricky Ankiel. Reliever Brad Thompson begins serving a 2-game suspension this afternoon. That's been reduced as Ankiel hits it in the air out to center field. Cameron back to make the catch. Initially it was 3 games, and Thompson, you might remember, was a pitch that was high and tight on David Wright, but he didn't hit him.
And he wasn't ejected from the game. Warnings were issued, but you know, it was up and in. It was a little unusual for. And remember, that was the same night when Prince Fielder tried to attack Mota in the Dodgers locker room and received a fine but no suspension.
By the way, Matt Cain did hit Wright in the head,
yes,
causing the concussion, and then time on the DL. Let's hit out to Wright. Catalinato back, but yet he's not suspended. And what should be interesting too is to see how the Pirates and Cardinals will match up this weekend. And remember, Caps hit Pujols not too long ago. St. Louis Cardinals, the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, and Fox Sports Midwest have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe easier. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
And you bring up an interesting point there, and you know, hope nothing carries over from that incident, but that is a dangerous situation for a club like the Cardinals. Looking forward to postseason play, and the last thing they could do is ill afford to get any of their players injured, and just sort of a little retaliation or carryover of emotions.
Got a little nervous last night when he saw Carpenter hit by a pitch on the top of his hand.
I think they said his thumb.
10th career leadoff home run for Julio Lugo. Put the Cardinals on top 1-0. Then after that, Ludwig driving in Albert Pujols.
I think Ricky Henderson is safe.
I think so.
In his record of leadoff home runs.
Tony would never say the greatest player he's ever managed, but as far as pure talent, Ricky Henderson would have to be in that conversation too.
Yes.
Seiko, McGuire, Pujols. He's seen some great ones.
Ricky was that combination of, you know, you'd have to say probably the greatest leadoff hitter in Major League history.
Lugo again hits it down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Into the corner it goes, and Braun has to dig it out. Julio Lugo with a homer, and now a double, and this game isn't even 2 innings old.
Well, one of the things about Lugo is, you know, you wanted him to be able to help you out against left-handed pitching, and he's done that in this game with a leadoff home run and now another extra base hit. Remember, Schumacher had 3 hits in the first 3 innings. Lugo well on his way.
Arch and Gene Schroyer celebrating their 57th anniversary here at the ballpark. Happy anniversary.
Lara Jack from Victor, Iowa, celebrating her 82nd birthday.
Brendan Ryan a chance to add to the Cardinal lead. Takes a strike. Pujols on deck. Brendan fly to center first time up. Todd Wellemeyer, by the way, is officially rejoined the team and listed in the bullpen for the Cardinals. And at this point, every team should feel protected. You should have enough. Month of September, all the call-ups.
Raise some eyebrows if you used a position player to finish out a ball game on the mound with September expanded rosters.
0-2 pitch, and Ryan swings and misses and throws his bat and helmet. We'll see the youngster lead it off, Escobar, when we come back. ATSLN.com. By the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. And by the new 3rd pound Angus burgers. They're here. Try one for yourself today, only at McDonald's. 91-mile-an-hour fastball from the 42-year-old John Smoltz. A strike to the shortstop, Escobar.
Smoltz has thrown 20 pitches, 16 strikes.
There's a breaking ball again, lifted into right center. On the move, Ludwig to make the catch. And 8 of 8 first pitch strikes.
He's only allowed 1 hit, and that was on a first pitch. It was to Ryan Braun.
Brings in Manny Parra, 26-round selection back in 2001. Sacramento, California, 6'3", 210-pounder. 2-0 Cardinals as we play here in the 3rd. In many ways, a lost season this year for Milwaukee. High expectations coming off their first playoff appearance back in 1982, the last time that they did it. 25 years, and they, you lose Sabathia and you lose Sheets, and that's 2 big holes to try to fill. 0-2.
Pretty good pitch right there, that just a little bit wide of the strike zone. Excellent 0-2 pitch.
Going right back with it, 2-2. Joel Pinheiro, Todd Wellemeyer, pending free agents. You have to wonder about the future of John Smoltz for next year. He said he wants to come back and pitch. Will there be a spot for him with the Cardinals?
Well, I think if he continues this way and still has the desire, which he said if he doesn't find that fire in the belly, he could walk away and hold his head high. But if he still feels like he does now and wants to pitch next year, I think there could be a marriage between he and the Cardinals again.
Cardinals have committed $28 million next season to Carpenter, Loesch, and Wainwright. Figure maybe a 1-year deal with a veteran. Should they not be able to retain Pinheiro, would fit exactly what Smoltz is looking for, and the Cardinals. I mentioned yesterday, I talked to John about if his role was in the bullpen. He said at the end of the year, ideally, if it would work out, I'd like to see if he could throw in back-to-back games out of the bullpen and how his body and his arm would respond. Remember, he is coming off that shoulder surgery in the offseason. 2 balls and no strikes, and the leadoff man counsel.
I think another added benefit that no one's really talked about, but if you did have a Ryan Franklin wear down a little bit, or if you got into a situation where, and it's hard in postseason play because of the off days, if you need to rest Franklin, it's supposed to be a pretty good closer too.
Big bats coming up. Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig. baseball. Cardinals Fleece Blanket Night coming up courtesy of AT&T. It's available to 25,000 fans ages 16 and older. It airs Friday, September 11th by purchasing tickets at STLCardinals.com. The batter is Albert Pujols. Pujols walked and scored his first time up. It floats in there for a strike. Right now, if the Cardinals stay on this course of pitching everybody every 5th day, and there is an off day between now and what would be a scheduled start for John Smoltz, you would see Smoltz in the Atlanta series on that Sunday. Now, that's on the 13th. There is an off day on the 10th. Oh, what a play here. Backhanded by McGee, and he takes an extra base hit away from Pujols. Outstanding play from the rookie at third.
Albert hits this ball extremely hard, right down the line, a dive, gets up and throws him out across the diamond. Very nice play by McGee. Still hard to believe that the Chicago Cubs put him on waivers. Young player like this, and especially when you consider what happened to Ramirez this year, they couldn't find a spot for him.
6 RBIs in this series alone, 46 on the year. And he comes up with that backhander. Here is Matt Holliday.
Barr almost fell down as see if he had kind of the same problem that Carpenter was experiencing.
Carpenter with a couple of runs allowed last night. ERA is at 2.28, so he still leads ahead of Tim Lincecum.
Did they call that a no pitch or something?
I think Holliday was asking the umpire to check the ball or throw it out. And the scoreboard here has 2 balls and no strikes. Swing and a miss, 2-1. See the little lack on the helmet, the back of Holliday's helmet. Some of the pines are off his bat. That's pulled foul. 2-2. Albert Pujols still the only player with 100 runs scored this year. Now at 106 with that first inning run.
Comes a set position as you bang it there, or occasion he'll touch it. The bat on the helmet resulting in that pine tar stain.
Now some guys will start to swing and then they'll hold up and kind of just guide through their swing. I can't recall a time where he hasn't done that. When he makes a decision to let it rip, it's going to be ripped. Base hit for Matt Holliday.
I was talking to Holliday about some of the big strong guys of the past and how heavy bats they used, and one thing I said is, if you use a 38 to 42 ounce bat, you start that swing, you can't stop it. But he swings hard, and it's that last 6 inches through the hitting zone where you see the bat speed, and he whips it through there.
It was the Exmo Cam, brought to you by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, 1 block south of the ballpark on Broadway. Here's Ludwig with an RBI single, his 81st RBI, and that was career hit number 1,000 for Matt Holliday. Congratulations to Matt.
That's right, 2 for 2 today. Lacked 2 hits noted on the board last night from the century mark, or 1,000th mark. How many hits will he end up?
Still a young man, too.
Yeah.
A long way to go. Short lead at first by Holliday.
It's 29.
Ludwig pulls it to McGee. Out at second. On to first. Double play. 5-4-3 on the double play. Sends us to the 4th. Catalanato, Braun, and Fielder coming up against Smoltz. .com/Midwest, and I'm going to give you some of the folks a little sample of what's been coming in. This is from Nigel in the UK. Any Red Sox fans who are watching must be devastated to see Lugo and Smoltz doing such a fantastic job. A little truth to that, isn't there?
Well, John Henry is, as a Cardinal fan, principal owner of the Red Sox and a good friend of mine. So maybe he's still trying to help out his favorite boyhood team.
Pitches in the dirt to Catalinato, and John Henry, I first met him through you when he was with the Florida Marlins at that time.
I happened to be at a charity event about a year or two after he bought the Florida Marlins.
Smoltz lets it go. Ryan over to get it. They get it by step.
You know, that's one of those situations, and I'll finish the story later, but I thought John Smoltz should have made that play easily, but he's seen so much of how well that Ryan is playing shortstop. I think he decided to let this go, and Ryan does make the play behind him, but it wasn't an easy play, and it looked like it was going to be a relatively easy play for Smoltz.
I'm with you. I was surprised.
And a little closer at first base than you might have thought.
Brings in Ryan Braun.
But it was at a charity event. This was right after Bill DeWitt and his ownership group bought the Cardinals. And John Henry goes, "Where was I? Where, you know, what happened? You know, I didn't know the Cardinals were for sale." But that was his favorite team growing up.
Not sure I would like my number 3 hitter trying to bunt his way on early in a game and down by 2.
John Smoltz liked it.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Especially with 1 out already, and anytime you get a terrific hitter like this to bunt, you know, he's doing you a favor. That's why.
I'd rather see him do that.
Yeah.
If I'm Ken Maka, that was just past Brendan Ryan. And a base hit for Ryan Braun. He's 2 for 2, and it brings in fielder.
Only 2 hits for Milwaukee are off the bat of Braun. So it seemed like he's well off the plate, and then he kind of hangs this one up and in. Little slider, doesn't have the bite on it, and doesn't get it away. So the first time up, he got a base hit to right field on a pitch that was up and away. This time he misses location, up and in, and he pulls it to the left side.
Fielder struck out swinging first time up. There's that slider again. The slider has been very good, hasn't it, today?
Yes. And you know, the interesting thing about Smoltz, he's smart enough to know he can keep on exploiting hitters with that slider. He's lost a little bit off his fastball. If he spotted, it's still effective. But wait till he pulls out that splitter. You know, you hold, smart pitchers hold a pitch in reserve. A lot of today's pitchers will throw every pitch they have in their arsenal when they don't need to. You know, nobody on base. It's not a, you know, it's not a situation where you have to have something in your out pitch in reserve.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Fielder. Prince Fielder leads in RBIs. He's 6 in front of Albert Pujols, 7 in front of Ryan Howard at 119. And Prince is 4th in home runs this season. He has 36. 1 ball, 1 strike. Smoltz would love the double play. Now that you bring up that point, I don't think we've seen that splitter all that much today.
I think that was one right there. The last pitch might have been the splitter.
He's able to strike him out inside cutter that last at bat.
And still has a lot of weapons, plus he's got just the wealth of knowledge of how to retire hitters, little tricks of the trade. Now is the a curveball, or is it the splitter? It's, you know, like curveball.
2-2 the count. In the 4th, 2-0 St. Louis here at Busch Stadium. Wrapping up this 9-game homestand. First of 3 with the Pirates tomorrow night. All 3 of the games, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Fox Sports Midwest.
Throw to first.
Adam Wainwright tomorrow night against Kevin Hart. Hart is 4-4. Wainwright 16-7.
Slider.
The check on Braun. 2-2 the count.
And here's the splitter.
Runner goes, and it's a ground ball foul. Saw Braun at the All-Star game along with his teammate Fielder, who's at the plate. That was his second time as an All-Star. Also back in '07. And Prince Fielder had a pinch hit RBI double. That was off of Roy Halladay, the second inning of the game. By the way, Prince only needs 8 RBIs to break the franchise record for a season, which is currently held by Cecil Cooper, the manager of the Astros. Trying to backdoor it. It's 3-2.
All the problems Smoltz had this year, he still has a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So he doesn't walk many. Like the slider again.
Braun is running. The 3-2 is hit into right field. So base hit for Fielder. He tattooed that pitch. And with 1 out, it's runners at first and third. Casey McGee called out on strikes. Back in the second. Here's a big swing from Prince Fielder.
And loads up on the backside. And see the difference. The ball, more of the plates. This 3-2 pitch, you don't have too much margin, but he was geared up to swing, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Kind of loads up on that back foot, explodes into the pitch. McGee with a fly ball out to left. Halladay makes the catch. Throw to the plate is not in time as Braun had to get back quickly to tag up. Brewers get on the board, and it's 2-1. RBI number 7 in the series for Casey McGee. Tickets for possible home games in the Division Series and Championship Series will go on sale September 23rd. Fans who wish to purchase tickets must go online to stlcardinals.com to register for the chance to purchase. Registration runs today through Friday, September 18th. Visit stlcardinals.com to register to get those tickets. Do it right now. We haven't read those promos in the last couple of years.
No, nice to hear it, but little things inside the game. The 3-2 pitch to Fielder allowed them to start the runner Braun. He goes from first to third, and then he comes home on the sacrifice. If it's not a running count, they would not have a run on the board yet.
Well, look at some of the numbers here in the career of Mike Cameron. He's had a very solid year, noted for his defense, but he just picked up his 1,000th career run in the major leagues against the Cardinals. That was on Tuesday night. And he's also a member of the 250 club.
And multiple winners of the Gold Glove.
1-1 pitch. Cameron in the air out to center field. And Keel under it with 2 hands to make the catch. Brewers get on the board here at Busch Stadium. 2-1 midway through 4. Rapid rewind. AT, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT, your world delivered. Mark DeRosa leads it off for the Cardinals. 2-1 St. Louis. The Cardinals with a record of 79-55. Trying to become the first club in the National League to 80 wins. Yankees have already done that. They're 85-48. They own a 7.5 game lead over Boston in the American League East. Last check, Detroit was leading their ball game. They have a 4.5 game lead over Minnesota, 7 in front of Chicago. Angels lead Texas by 3.5 games in the West. Mr. Rosa pulls it foul. Baltimore and Washington, those two teams have already been eliminated. Only two teams in baseball and right from the same area. Rough go for those fans. It's taken low.
Sox have taken a 1-0 lead over the Cubbies.
Here's a 2-2. And DeRosa called out on strikes. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Parra picks up his third, brings in Yachty. Molina flied out to center with 2 runners on. First time up. Cardinals on the next homestand. 2 teams from the National League East, Atlanta and Florida. Then we'll see Chicago. Taken there by McGee to his left, quickly 2 away. It's a 9-game homestand after the road trip. Just steps from the arch in Busch Stadium. Enjoy unmatched hospitality and a prime location at the Hyatt Regency St. Louis Riverfront. Overnight accommodations, your choice of 2 or 4 Cardinals tickets, complimentary Rawlings bat, and $10 food and beverage voucher. Check out the Hyatt Regency St. Louis Riverfront. Here's Ricky Anquillo with 2 outs. Fastball and a strike. The Chicago series, that is a tough ticket. Apparently the Saturday ball game, I believe, is completely sold out. Standing room only for the other 2, but good seats still remaining for Atlanta and Florida. And we'll finish up the regular season in October. Anquillo hits it out to right. Catalanato will make the catch. We'll finish it up against these Brewers. 2-1. Bowling Green, September 19th, they'll play Furman. Many cable and video operators in our Cardinals viewing area will offer these pay-per-view games for $29.95. So don't miss a second of the action. Mizzou squares off against Bowling Green again September 12th. And you'll only be able to see the Tigers in pay-per-view for those two games, September 12th, Mizzou and Bowling Green on Fox Sports Midwest. Magic number is at 20, so the Cardinals, looking ahead to that next homestand, might have a chance to clinch against the Cubs if it all falls right, and that falls into the glove of Holiday for the first out. Rivera retired.
Give you a little extra incentive. Hey, how about the start to Smoltz's Cardinal career? Last inning was the first and only inning wearing the Cardinal uniform he did not have a strikeout. In his first 14 innings, he had at least one strikeout in all 14 until last inning.
And a strike at the knees to Escobar. They say this guy has got great range, outstanding speed, and is their shortstop of the future. So you have to wonder about the future of J.J. Hardy and what happens with him. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hits it in the air again. Ankiel will have to hurry up to get there, and the center fielder puts it away. Saturday afternoons made for baseball this week. Fox brings you the national game of the week. Pablo Sandoval and the Giants battle the Brewers in a game in San Francisco. They need to win that in order to keep pace in the wild card. Red Sox, White Sox the other game. And that's at 3 Central, Fox Saturday Baseball.
I know one thing they're going to have Escobar work on is that's hit down on the ball.
Sure.
He had 42 steals. Second most in the Pacific Coast League when at the time of his promotion. And here today, Escobar, their fine young shortstops, hit 2 balls in the air.
16 of 18 first pitch strikes so far.
In the 5th inning here with our count says 51 on the scoreboard here. It says 49, so I was going to say you could end 5 innings with just 50 pitches. Either way, he won't now.
2 balls and a strike. Happy 87th birthday to Maury Martin. Watching Cardinal baseball today on Fox Sports Midwest. Popped up. Molina makes the play. Smoltz goes 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 5th, and he'll lead it off when we come back. Stance guy lives out there, and he can give you just about any batting stance. It's got to be what, Matt Holliday maybe?
Well, I don't know. You got to tune into the post-game show to find out. That was the question. Who is it?
The only way I thought it was Matt Holliday was the way that he picked up his front foot. So that's my guess. So they'll talk about it on the post-game show.
They will.
Yes. Did you meet that gentleman when we were out in L.A.?
No.
Yeah, the players
Didn't really.
mesmerized.
I didn't have a desire to. He had too many home runs.
Every swing was
A
contact.
home run swing and run around the bases. I thought Brendan Ryan had a better Babe Ruth.
Here's Smoltz. Yeah, he had him going as well. John Smoltz flied out to right. His first time up, 0 for 1. Julio Lugo on deck, and then Brendan Ryan. 2-1 Cardinals. Smoltz hits it sharply to the shortstop. Escobar makes the play. And that's now 5 straight set down by Parra after the single by Holliday. Cardinals did their damage early in this game. In the first inning, it was a home run by Lugo. Will step in for the 3rd time. He's 2 for 2 with a double as well. And then we saw a walk and back-to-back singles by Holliday and Ludwig as Ryan picked up his 81st RBI. In the 5th, 2-1. And they don't like something that they're seeing right now with Parra. Here comes their medical trainer and also Ken Maka.
That's all they need, isn't it? Another injury? Looks like something with his leg.
Wonder if it's just a cramp.
Cramp, possibly.
He's been dealing with injuries this year. Yeah, it is his left leg. You can see him just shaking it a bit. And he says he's all right. Let's go back to who the Red Sox have given up. Brad Penny made his debut with the Giants, and he was spectacular last night. 8 innings. He was throwing high 90s. And then you have John Smoltz looking for his 2nd win, but 16 innings, only 2 earned runs, 19 strikeouts. And Lugo, a couple of home runs. He had 1 against the Phillies and this one today. 7 RBIs and hitting above 300.
Not sure a lot of patience this season, have they?
That was some of those players. And Lugo, as we noted when he came to St. Louis, key part of their championship team in 2007.
And obviously we didn't see Chris Duncan, but very quickly they turned him loose.
And Lugo waves at it. Throw down to Fielder for the strikeout. So Parra now has struck out 4 this afternoon. To the shortstop, Brendan Ryan.
Still playing with that leg a little bit as Rivera went out and asked him again.
Nobody up and throwing in Milwaukee's bullpen, so they'll let him try to work himself out of this, whatever pain may be bothering him. His time was not granted, and it's ball 1 to Brendan Ryan as he gets a gift. 2 outs and nobody on.
Can ask for it, but you don't want to. Pitcher starts his motion. You don't want to have him be penalized and stop.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Clemens hit over 300 in his last 14 games.
He's fly to center and struck out in the 2nd. Hits it sharply to 3rd. McGee there. Positioned perfectly, and the Cardinals again go in order for the 2nd inning in a row against Manny Parra. Top of their lineup coming up after 5. It's 2-1. to throw a no-hitter. It's this date in history, September 3rd, 2001. A short-lived career for Bud Smith, unfortunately. And this was against the Padres, and in that game, Bud Smith close to 130 pitches. And that did it. Bud had the no-hitter. Mark McGuire on the bench. Rick Ankiel, Darryl Kyle was there. Albert, of course. Bobby Bonilla. Gary Robinson there in the middle of things. Fernando Vina. Eli Marrero. And the Cardinals were facing a team in September that year that Tony Gwynn was banged up. So he pinch hit in that game in the 8th inning and hit a rocket, but that was it. And that made a big difference. You don't have to face Tony Gwynn 4 times.
Sure.
But Bud earned every bit of that.
Yeah, as I say, a no-hitter's a no-hitter. And, of course, he has something to remember very proudly from his major league career. And, unfortunately, it wasn't long after that he had the shoulder injuries. And I wonder now, we haven't heard anything about him for several years, so you wonder if he's out of the game.
He is. He has retired, and most recently he was a part of Long Beach, the Golden Baseball League. And I'm curious, it's independent baseball. Is that the same team that Spezio's on?
No, it's not the same team, but it's probably in the same league.
Okay. I'll never forget, though, talking with Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa after that game and how concerned they were with the pitch count for Bud Smith. It was 134 pitches that night in San Diego. And as Tony said, he may never, ever get this shot again. How do you take him out of the game? And
sure.
You got to keep him in. And sure enough, he really never was the same after that.
No, and of course, you know, you had the California night air, you know, where it's not 100 degrees. It's probably, you know, in the 70s, and so that keeps you fresh.
His rookie year, he was 6-3. He finished 4th in the Rookie of the Year balloting, as that's a ball to Craig Counsell. And then he was traded to the Phillies. Polanco and Mike Timlin part of that, as the Cardinals picked up Scott Rowland. Bud Smith had an ERA close to 7 in his sophomore year and was never heard from again in the major leagues. 2-2 pitch to Counsell. Just got a piece. By the way, Albert Pujols is due up first for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 6th, and yet he was introduced as the Milwaukee leadoff hitter. And Albert was walking to his position, stopped, turned around, and looked up at the press box. Said, "Wait a minute, getting our head a little ahead of ourselves right now."
He's saying John Hewlett made a mistake.
I would never say John made a mistake. I'm just saying he was ahead of the game a little bit.
Well, let's say it together. You back me up?
I'm not doing it. No, John's too good. I will not do it.
The guy that sounded just like John Hewlett made the mistake.
Walk around up here, and he's one of the nicest people you run into. 2-2 pitch. And a base hit into left center field. Counsell is digging for 2, and Keel will cut it off. Mentioned that Craig Counsell has 8 triples this year, and now he has a double, as that's a leadoff double to start the 6th.
He's also had Smoltz's number, as he came in 8 for 16. Now 9 for 19 against John Smoltz. Off speed, up a little bit up, out over the plate, and becomes a little more hittable.
In-depth Cardinals and all-star game coverage all season long at Game Day Magazine. It's the official team magazine of the Cardinals. Number to call right now. Operator standing by, area code 314-345-9000, or visit online at stlcardinals.com/publications. A really nice job with a commemorative issue of this year's All-Star game, and that's the recent issue. It's taken low by Catalanato. Frank Catalanato twice is grounded out to short. Breaking ball and a strike.
Catalanato started spring training with Texas and was released on April the 6th. Pick up by the Brewers. course, he played for Italy in the World Baseball Classic. What kind of international games do they have after the season? Because some kind of a tournament where I know Matt Pagnazzi was going to play for Team Italy, and the Cardinals denied permission, which really makes you think that they would only do that if they were going to bring him up to the big leagues for a September call-up after Memphis' series is over.
And it only makes sense that you would add another catcher to protect yourself there.
And, you know, in spring training, they felt that Pagnazzi's, Dave Duncan was on record as saying he's the only guy down there that he really trusts to handle this pitching staff up here.
We heard so much about Brian Anderson for the last couple of years.
And then Anderson had a wasted year, but, you know, Brian has a lot of work defensively. That's what we talk about when you talk about a backup catcher. It's catch and throw. You know, ability to work with your pitching staff.
LaRue keeps himself in terrific shape, and he's always working on trying to stay as sharp as he can. But a guy like Jason LaRue is so valuable, and he extends his career by many years.
No doubt about it. But you know, and he's a real favorite in that clubhouse.
Off of Smoltz. Let's hope John is okay. And he just wants the ball back. That was a rocket hit back at John Smoltz. It's runners at first and third. That's Barry Weinberg and Tony La Russa, and he says he's all right. Molina calling him out.
Well, you come out there anyway, just check. I'm not sure if it got him on the arm or in the midsection, but you know, as you're
shaking his left arm.
Yeah, his left hand, gloved hand. He got back. He tried to get his. Didn't have the reaction time to get the glove in front of him, but comes back off there. You see where I was thinking maybe the midsection, and it probably deflected off the arm and into the midsection. Dan, you'll learn sometime when you're 42, your reflexes slow down a little bit. And you know what? As you get older, they keep on going.
Now, if he was 20, I don't think he gets to that one. That was a rocket.
I tell you all the time that there are some balls hit back at you that you see, and yet you can't catch. And there's other times where you don't even see the ball, but your reflexes get your glove up, and you'll make the play.
Remember, Loesch had a situation like that earlier this year. Been a tough year for him injury-wise. He had never been on the DL before. Here's Braun, who's 2 for 2. A couple of singles and a run scored. The only run today for Milwaukee. 2-1 here in the 6th. Nobody out. Runners at first and third.
Thank you, Larry Walker. The World Cup starts September 10th. Never know who's watching our games.
So double by Council, single by Catalanato, and Ryan Braun with Fielder on deck.
I wonder if Larry's going to coach or participate in Canada.
I'm sure he could still swing it. Strike 2.
Walker in the house.
Smoltz would love to strike out here in a double play and send us to the bottom of the 6th.
What do you think about guys that made an impact, come in late season acquisitions? Daniel, remember what he did? Larry Walker, Holiday, Smoltz, Lugo, DeRosa.
One and 2 the count. Good pitch on the outside corner, spoiled by Braun. Pitch count at 69 right now for Smoltz.
Hawksworth warming up behind John, but this is where you want to see that veteran. He's got a tough task right here as you're going through 3, 4, and 5 with tying run on at third base, the go-ahead run on first, and nobody out.
1-2 pitch. He got him. Strikeout of Ryan Braun. Got him to chase. Pitch at 77 miles an hour. And 5 strikeouts for John Smoltz today. This is our Exmo Cam presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill.
See the rotation right there. And just Braun swinging wildly. The ball kind of hanging up there, but it was just far enough out of beyond his reach to where he saw it, but he couldn't reach it.
John Smoltz, the oldest starting pitcher for the Cardinals since Jim Cott. 1982, at the age of 43, he was pitching. Swing and a miss there. The Cardinals have had just 4 starting pitchers 42 or older. Grover Alexander back in 1929. Dazzy Vance, early 30s. Jesse Haynes and Jim Cott, and now John Smoltz. Here's the 0-1.
Used to think in terms of the career almost over. You get to like 32, 33 years of age. And now, because of the shape these guys stay in, they extend their careers a lot later in age, and still amazing athletes.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Fielder. 1-2. The Cardinals somehow hold on and win this game. Of course, you look at a spot like this as being a huge inning for the Redbirds. It could be a huge inning for the Brewers too. Pitched 6 innings in his last start, 1 run on 4 hits, and he said that he wanted to be going deeper in this game this afternoon, which he has done.
Splitter.
Here's a 1-2. Ground ball. Lugo, only play is to go to first as it hit the lip of the grass. It stayed down. A run scores to tie it up at 2-2. Took a little tricky hop there for Julio.
Yeah, and Julio did ultimately the right thing. Is not only did he did a nice job to make sure he catches it after took that tricky hop, but then he didn't have the handle, and so instead of trying to get the inning double play, just make sure you get an out, concede the tying run scoring, but get that second out of the inning. You know, Tony's got him in there for his offense, and you suffer a little bit defensively.
Casey McGee with his average up to 317, 13 home runs, 47 RBIs. 7 now, right? 7 in this series. Catalanato, the runner at second base. Hammers it out to deep left field, and this ball is gone. Casey McGee, a 2-run homer. And the Brewers, for the first time, have the lead. Number 14 on an 0-1 pitch, and it's 4-2 Milwaukee. What a series this guy has had.
Hanging breaking ball, and starts up around the shoulders but ends up at the belt and belted out of here.
And that pitch is taken low and away by Mike Cameron.
I think they gave him an extra home run. You know, I think it's only his 13th home run.
As Cameron hits it out of play. So 3 runs here in the top of the 6th for Milwaukee.
Either way, McGee, all of his home runs have come in the last 61 ball games, whether it's 13 or 14.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Thing is with the Cardinals now, even when they trail, you just never feel like you're out of the game with their lineup.
Not at all, but do have to get something going after they scored their only 2 runs in the first.
Holiday is due up second for the Cardinals. Pujols first. 3, 4, and 5 coming up.
And combined, they're 0 for 1. Talking about Pujols and Holiday. Excuse me, not 0 for 1, but they've only made 1 out. They're 2 for 3. And then if you put the trio in there, they're 3 for 4, 3 for 5.
3-2 pitch to Cameron. Strikes him out. 2 in the inning. That's 6 in the game. McGee's home run measured at 362 feet. 4-2 Milwaukee. Fastest 3G network, AT your world delivered. And brought to you by Taco Bell's new Volcano menu. It's seriously spicy.
Ken, what are you doing September 11th, 12th, and 13th?
September 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Well, Atlanta Braves are in town.
I'll be here.
So you can't go and I can't go, but the city of Chester invites you to their 30th annual Popeye Picnic. They held that weekend, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Parade is held on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. And happy birthday to Christy Fleming. Also, happy birthday to my lovely bride, June.
38, right?
Yeah, she's 38. My mom's still 39, so June's 38.
0-1 pitch to Pujols. Casey McGee, 9 RBIs in this series, 5 for 10, 1 double and a couple of home runs. What a series.
Who is this guy?
Yeah. Pujols gets underneath it. Ryan Braun trying to shade from the sun.
Did a nice job, didn't he?
Sure did, with the glasses and the glove.
Yep, and that's how you do it. You know, a lot of the outfielders have the H web, so they put down the glasses, but then you kind of look right through your H in the webbing, where the infielders have the, see, it's not quite a traditional H, but you can see the, where the laces, you can look through there.
Trapeze.
Yeah, and the infielders, of course, remember he's a converted third baseman, but the infielders have the full webbing, so the ball stays in there, can't get through it.
It's now 8 in a row set down by Manny Parra. Fielder will take it himself. 2 outs. So Manny Parra now 9 straight he is set down. 4-2 Milwaukee here in the bottom of the sixth. Aflac trivia time. How many Rookie of the Year award winners have the Brewers had? Casey McGee will be in that conversation this year. Pat Listash back in 1992. And of course we remember Braun in 07. Looks like Ryan Braun may have a little better career than Pat Listash.
Yes.
A heck of a player.
Listash is a coach now with the Nationals.
Say we just saw him over the weekend. 2 outs, and here is Ludwig. He has an RBI. Now at 81 this year.
Remember, Pat Listash also was one of those guys that turned down what appeared to be a very fair contract, multi-year contract, turned it down, and the next year he was out of baseball. Still wishing he had the old contract offer.
Cardinals will have an off day for 3 Thursdays in a row. And on this road trip, the Cardinals actually will play 3-day games as well. Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service, or go online to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals, the only site with Fan Protect guarantee.
Milwaukee's pitching coach, Chris Bosio. He was named to that position August 12th. He had been at AAA, and then they fired Billy Castro, and Bosio takes over. No activity yet in their bullpen, so 2 outs here in his second walk, stopping what, that is that 9 or 10 in a row. Parra had retired.
It's been a while for Mark DeRosa to go deep. Have to go back to the series at Pittsburgh.
I was just thinking, he's had a rough day to this point, a couple strikeouts. Well, maybe it's time for him to do something special.
So 0 for 2 on the day, and his average overall at 257 with his 21 homers and 68 driven in.
See if he can't put Smoltz in line for the victory. Hawksworth throwing again in the bullpen, so you would have to believe that Smoltz is through for the afternoon. Still the pitcher of record. Turn that L into a possible W.
And DeRosa rips it foul. First base runner for the Cardinals since back in the 3rd. Cardinals did their damage in the 2nd inning. Home run by Lugo. Ludwig with an RBI base hit. 81st driven in this year. And another check on Ludwig over at first. Milwaukee scored their first run in the ball game with 1 in the 4th and then 3 in the 6th, highlighted by the McGee home run. Casey McGee with 9 RBIs in the series. Oh, 1 to DeRosa. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parra, his pitch count at 73, if you're wondering.
He started out in the 1st inning. You didn't think he'd be around for the 6th.
Hawksworth continues to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Up and away.
Parra gave up leadoff home run to Lugo. 2 more hits and a walk in the 1st frame. The Cardinals scored their 2 runs, and they trail 4-2. Here with 2 outs, runner at first here in the bottom of the 6th.
The 2-1 pitch, and DeRosa hits it to Escobar, dives, throws to first. Oh, what a play! The rookie Escobar shows everyone here at Busch Stadium while he is a work in progress, still a star in the making. What a play here in the outfield grass. Park tomorrow. Cardinals and the Pirates, and we're on the air at 5:30 with our pregame show. Adam Wainwright and Kevin Hart. Wainwright 16-7. Cardinals will also throw Mitchell Boggs and Joel Pinheiro in that series, and then we'll see Milwaukee on Monday. And a reminder, the entire road trip is on Fox Sports Midwest. That includes the Sunday game. Milwaukee leads this one 4-2. Double switch for the Cardinals and the new pitcher, and our Chevy called to the bullpen. In for Smoltz, who gave up 4 earned runs, is Blake Hawksworth. Chevy called to the bullpen. Troy Gloss takes over at third base.
Hawksworth, his numbers, his 21st appearance, world of difference in his second stint for the Cardinals. First one looked like he was a little bit rattled. Second time he looked like he belongs here, as he was recalled on July the 26th, and he's been pitching in more important games almost every time out. It's his job to hold down these Brewers and let his offense take over and come from behind.
And Gloss, as Tony La Russa was saying, really comes in at a difficult time right now. They played 5 months without him and can't be guaranteed playing time, as Troy is trying to get himself a little comfort level out at third base, physically, mentally, and just get back in the game at this level.
That's right. And talking about Gloss, you know, his contract up, you know, trying to show people that he can play at this level, coming back off the shoulder surgery.
And Tony was asked about, you know, playing him defensively, and he said they've run a battery of tests with him as far as infield practice and how he looks throwing, and everything was fine. So there he is out there at third base.
And that was the issue last several months, is his ability to throw.
A strikeout for Hawksworth to start the 7th inning. Rivera over 3, and it brings in Escobar. How about that play by Escobar?
Very, very good play. As you know, I thought that was a sure base hit, and he had plenty of arm strength after popping up, diving for that ball deep in the hole, and threw him out. Good pick at the other end.
Let's go back to it. The shortstop for Milwaukee.
He's clearly on the outfield grass. See, when he starts his dive, now he throws it right down into the turf, but a couple hops, it gets to fielder and he scoops it up.
Now Escobar twice has hit it in the air, and you saw him show bunt on that first pitch. I'm sure teams might want to think about that. Test Troy Gloss, especially with the speed of Escobar.
Escobar was in the Pacific Coast League, where Gloss was there recently, and Hawksworth was there also. So these two might have faced each other playing in AAA this year.
2 balls and a strike.
Noted that Escobar's got to start hitting the ball down, you know, hitting down on the ball and utilize his great speed.
Al, I was saddened. I know numerous people were saddened with the passing of Jim White, longtime radio voice at KMOX. I had the pleasure to work with for a number of years, and we are going to miss him. We miss him on the air, obviously.
Oh, yes.
He will be sorely missed, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the White family.
Yeah, one of the first guys I kind of met coming here to St. Louis in the 70s, and you know, been off the air for many years, but boy, he was entertained a lot of people with, you know, his late night program.
Well, you think about all the years the Cardinals were on KMOX, and he would come on after the Cardinal game, so his audience was huge and going across the country with that booming signal, and he was hysterical at times.
Loved his boating, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That was his passion. And for people that had the chance to know him behind the scenes, a little different than how he was on the air.
Yeah.
Very, very nice man. So Manny Parra hitting for himself here in the 7th. Parra has struck out and also popped out. The big bumper, Jim White.
Big bumper in the night.
Can't fix stupid. First caller we call in. Jim, how you doing? I'm doing great. This is what I did today. Had a lovely afternoon. Next person would call, and how you doing, Jim? We've already established that. Time to stretch. Julio Lugo showing off the muscles early on. This made it 1-0 Cardinals, and a leadoff home run for Lugo. Ludwig then would drive in his 81st. That was in the first inning, but since then, all Milwaukee. They picked up 4 runs. They all were earned against John Smoltz. But Smoltz again, 6 innings of work, and he strikes out 6 this afternoon. Brewers lead it 4-2. Casey McGee, another home run, his second in the series, 9 RBIs in the 3 games played between the two teams. And a gorgeous afternoon from Busch Stadium. What a day. And the Cardinals need some offense here. They have not had a base hit since back in the 3rd. Molina, Ankiel, and Gloss for the Cardinals.
It's kind of reminiscent of early in the season when the Cardinals may jump out in front, but only scoring would come early, and then they just sit there.
The last 2 nights, it has been the offense. You and I are pretty confident the Cardinals are heading into postseason play. Tony La Russa would say not until we can pop champagne, but you start to think about potential matchups and who they would match up best with and who would be the toughest draw. The wild card would always make you a little bit nervous just because that team normally is one of the hottest in baseball and playing that playoff type baseball for a month or 2.
Sure, and that's why a lot of wild card teams have won, and the Cardinals won their 10th World Championship in '06 as the wild card team. They only won 83 games in the regular season.
Here's a 3-1 pitch taken outside.
3rd walk from Parr, and the 2nd one in the last 3 batters.
So a leadoff walk, and Keel represents the tying run. They do have activity in that bullpen right now. Right-hander getting loose for the Brewers.
And their phone just rang too, so we'll see if they get another lefty up. David Weathers. He's coming in with the possibility of Albert coming up. That's not fair, is it? We see David Weathers, and he's been a tremendous pitcher. Yeah, he's approaching up there around, I don't know, is it 900 or is it 1,000 appearances?
Weathers was back in the mid-90s with the Yankees. They started their great run. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Rick Ankiel. On its way. Foul back. A little surprising that Rick Ankiel would get the start last night over Ludwig. Ludwig, we thought, would get that start, but yet everything that Tony La Russa has been doing this year has been turning out to be the right move. Ankiel had a big night.
He's got to have some success against Parr, which he has. 3 for 7 before today.
Strikeout as he waves at it. And that strikeout is number 5 for Manny Parr. And here's Troy Gloss. He was used as a pinch hitter last night and struck out.
Breaking ball in the dirt gets him to chase. So, and Ken Maka is going to make a move to the bullpen right now and bring in Weathers.
So we'll step aside. A pitching change coming up. That's it for Parr. A good start, though, today with only 5 hits allowed. To retransmit it in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So David Weathers into the ball game. This is our Chevy call to the pen.
Weathers took the loss on Tuesday here in St. Louis. 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit. He allowed 2 earned runs. Acquired from Cincinnati on August the 9th for a player to be named. 19-year Major League veteran. He's pitched with the Brewers 98 to 2001. And he's been around a long time, made a lot of appearances.
Another big crowd here at Busch Stadium this afternoon.
He gave up a double to Schumacher on Tuesday, and that snapped an 0 for 25 skid. Weathers is making his 13th appearance. He has allowed 6 runs, and he's 0-2 for since he's been pitching for the Brewers.
From Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Was drafted back in 1988. As Gloss taps one foul. And made his major league debut with the Blue Jays in '91. Then was drafted by the Marlins, you might remember, in the '92 expansion draft. Pitched with Florida until '96, and then he was traded to the Yankees and won a World Series ring that year with New York. Three active players right now that have played with the Marlins during their inaugural season. Trevor Hoffman, which people forget he was with the Marlins, Gary Sheffield, and David Weathers. Troy Gloss hits it down the left field line. Fair ball. One hops off the wall. That'll be a ground rule double, as Molina will have to stop at third base. It just went over the wall. Good to see Troy back in there. His first base hit of 2009.
Well, that's what you're hoping for, that he can provide a little extra base or a little power coming off the bench. Last season with the late January shoulder surgery, but that swing looked pretty good. He had a good solid season last year for the Cardinals and was healthy the entire year.
He's going to try to make it a tough decision for Tony and the staff to say, we're going to keep this guy off the postseason roster if he's going to give you productive at bats off the bench.
And, you know, he joined the ball club on September 1st, but because he was on the DL the entire year, he is eligible to be part of that postseason roster. But you'd have to take somebody off to put him on.
Had 99 RBIs last year. Mitch Stetter getting loose in the bullpen. The lefty for Milwaukee, and a base hit could tie it up, only one out. And Lugo has had some of the better at bats today, as he homered in the first, doubled in the second, and struck out in the fifth.
Stetter, their left-handed specialist, warming up, but
two and 0.
You could pinch hit for not necessarily Lugo, but you could pinch hit for Brendan Ryan. But you know, if you do that, you know, you're. And right now, I think Tony would rather have Weathers stay in there for the possibility of getting down to Pujols. So it's kind of, in some ways, wasted having Stetter warm up.
2-0 pitch. I'm with you. I'm trying to figure out why he would be up.
Right.
Unless you're thinking, like you said, Schumacher's coming off the bench.
But still, then you'd have him just face Schumacher, and you know, right now Tony wants to have that possibility that, you know, you could get down to Albert with Weathers still on the mound.
And that's low. Bases loaded for the Cardinals. Third time that Lugo has been on base.
Stetter sits down now, and Vargas is warming up.
Claudio Vargas out there, who's been a starter at times in his career.
And now they're going to see if Weathers is okay. He's trying to wave off the trainer, but he's not paying attention. They usually kind of check with the umpire to say it's an injury-related visit. That's why the home plate umpire is talking to the trainer right there. You know, don't run out there, because you have the two visits before you have to pull a pitcher. But if it's injury-related, you can go out there with it not counting as an official visit.
So chance now for Brendan Ryan to tie this game up or give the Cardinals a lead. Molina, the runner at third base. Troy Gloss, part of the double switch. He has a double. First hit at 09, and Lugo on base for the third time. A homer, double, and now a walk here in the seventh. On deck, it's Albert Pujols, and here's Brendan Ryan. Ryan has flied out to center. He has struck out and also grounded out to third.
Time being called is now Oquendo. He's getting something from there. We're going to have a pinch hitter here.
And here we go now.
Stetter's not warmed up.
Right. It sat down.
And I think in Maka's mind that, you know, I mean, he could delay long enough to get Stetter back up and make this pitching appearance if he needed to do so. Now Stetter's back up, so you could stall long enough. Remember, you could, you know, depending, and that was in my mind, if you know, if you knew it was not an injury related, or even if it was. You know, so this could be, to me, this could be, you know, one upsmanship on Tony is now Maka will make the pitching change that Tony didn't anticipate. Or if he did, so what?
Weathers came in, gave up the double to Gloss. Walk to Lugo. And the lefty-lefty matchup when we come back. Julio Lugo, first Cardinal hitter of the afternoon with a solo home run, his third of the year, and second with the Cardinals. So now Skip Schumacher has been pulled back. And maybe this is the exact matchup that Tony La Russa wanted. He wanted Stetter to come in. He faked everybody out with Schumacher, and it's going to be Green, who's really been okay as a pinch hitter.
Yes, and we talked about the other day is it all comes down to the execution of the players.
Did you follow all that, Al?
Oh, sure, I followed it.
Stetter is from Indiana and pitched at Indiana State University of the Missouri Valley Conference and drafted by the Brewers in 2003.
Stay out of the double play.
So bases loaded again for the Cardinals as they trail in this ball game 4-2. We talked about Stetter last night, and we showed you where he pitches from. And the back of the rubber, well, he doesn't really use it. He's off the rubber.
Yeah, we'll see this time. I bet he's making contact now. It's just his heel, but no, it looks just the same as last night.
0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Very, very tough on the lefties, but unless it's an optical illusion, and it doesn't appear to be so, he does not make contact with the rubber with the back of his heel.
Khalil Green with 2 grand slams in his career, if you're wondering. And Green jumps on the pitch but pulls it foul.
Now, very difficult on the left-handed batter because Stetter releases the ball with that sidearm or Laredo delivery behind their back. But right-handed batters really get a very good look at the release point, and that's a real key to hitting.
Here's a 1-2. Called, third strike on Khalil. Stetter strikes out Khalil Green, and it brings in Pujols. I'm sure it'll bring out Ken Maka.
Well, what's Albert's record with the bases loaded?
He added to it again last night.
29 RBIs, 9 for 13 with 29 RBIs. Now Maka is trying to settle things right there. And now we'll make the pitching change. Vargas.
So Vargas coming in to face Albert with the bases loaded when we return. 9 RBIs and 5 grand slams. And his numbers against Vargas, not too shabby either. Bases loaded for the Cardinals, 2 outs, nowhere to put Pujols. And against Claudio Vargas, 3 home runs, 6 for 15. Al and I were just talking about something that would be interesting if you saw a trend more like this in baseball, where even though it's the bases loaded and 2 outs and you're in the 7th, this could be your game right here on the line, where more managers, more times than not, won't bring in their closer maybe in a spot like this.
Yeah, today rarely we even bring in your closer in the 8th inning with 2 outs. But this was old-fashioned baseball. This was your closer who'd come in here. And of course, if you brought your closer in and he picked up a 2 1/3 inning save, and look at this crowd responding, he still was available tomorrow. So you never thought about, trying to just have him pitch 1 inning.
So here we go. Vargas and Pujols with the bases loaded. First pitch to Albert.
This crowd is ready.
They're on their feet.
Well, Albert set the Cardinal record with his 5th career Grand Slam this season in New York. It also is the 11th of his career. That is the Cardinals' career record. Tied Ernie Banks's that was the National League record with 5, and the Major League record is 6. I know Don Mattingly was the first to have 6 Grand Slams in one season.
One-0 pitch to Pujols.
Fastball for strike 1 there, and just looked like when Albert just kind of taking that pitch, sizing it up.
Many times he'll take that first pitch with a new pitcher. On their feet here at Busch Stadium. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, bases loaded. The next 2, Pujols. Strike 2. Albert spins away, and he didn't like the call. Looked to be a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, it looked like a pitcher's pitch. Albert's not afraid with 2 strikes, but ball is on the outer half, and right there, good job of framing by Rivera.
Pujols in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Time called. Well, Pujols has been up with the bases loaded in this series, and he delivered.
Long run for Catalanato, and he doesn't get there. Ground rule double, drove in 2 more. 29 RBIs in bases loaded situations.
One-two pitch. Oh, is that tough to take there or what? 2-2.
Just off the plate, but you're right, tough to take. This is the big pitch here. As a pitcher, you want to retire him on the 2-2 pitch. Set up inside. Steps off. Think twice about that.
Or you just want to delay the inevitable.
And the reason I say pitcher doesn't want to run it full with 2 outs and the bases loaded, then you got everybody running on a 3-2 pitch. So he wants to do it here. But if you throw inside, inside is ball 3. 2-2, you have a tendency to leave the ball a little middle half in. It becomes a much more hittable pitch. Back away.
2-2 pitch, and again, time is called.
Well, Albert's calling time as he really is coming set and taking a long time, which it's disrupting Albert, but it's also a sign of him probably a little bit second guessing himself and not having the confidence to go ahead and execute the pitch. If you felt comfortable and you felt confident, why would you take a long delay?
And what you're saying, you feel confident, you go right at him with that pitch.
That's right. You know, but it does, you know, if you can get Albert to be uncomfortable, and he is enough to the point of calling time.
The 2-2. Spoiled by Albert. Keep going to that outside portion of the plate. That pitch at 93 miles an hour.
In my mind, when, you know, Albert a little bit behind on that pitch, but now he kind of has seen that pattern of what they want to do, where they want to throw it. Seen several of those pitches in that location, some called, some not. He's getting more dialed in.
Another 2-2 pitch on its way to Albert. Oh, my goodness.
Rivera, you know he wants that call. That's why he took 3 or 4 steps up in front, so he would not let the umpire hear what he has to say. A lesser hitter is going walking back to the dugout.
This could be your ball game right here.
It sure could. And now the merry-go-round starts on the 3-2 pitch. That's an old play that you don't see ever called anymore. But a pickoff for the runner at second base, but nobody was covering the bag.
Pujols chops it left side. McGee, who else? He'll make the play, and the Cardinals are through in the bottom of the 7th. Strand, the bases loaded. It's 4-2 Milwaukee. The exception to the rule. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Hey, congratulations to Chris Carpenter. He's just been selected as the National League Pitcher of the Month. First time for Carp. What a battle there with Vargas and Pujols with the game on the line.
And to the disappointment of the Cardinal fans, it came out in favor of Milwaukee. Pressure pitching right there, and Vargas got away with it. Hey, congratulations to Ariana and Jason Gray on their recent marriage. Big Cardinal fans.
Craig Counsell, top of the order, looks at a ball down and in. Hawksworth in his second inning. Relief of Smoltz. Manny Parra for Milwaukee, 6 1/3, 5 hits, gave up 2 earned runs. Counsell hits it in the air to right. And Manny Parra walked 3 and struck out 5. Smoltz on the afternoon struck out 6 in his 6 innings of work. Hawksworth, that's 4 up and 4 down with 2 strikeouts. Frank Catalanato 1 for 3, singled back in the 6th and has scored a run. Hard to believe, first time that Carpenter has been the pitcher of the month in his career.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Twice Catalanato is grounded out short, singled last time up. 4-2 Milwaukee. Big gap in the left center. And another ground ball, this time to Julio Lugo. Two outs, and it brings in Braun. And a strike at the knees to Braun. Ryan Braun today. Couple of singles, runs scored, and he struck out his last time up. Fielder on deck. 5 up and 5 down so far for Blake Hawksworth. Coming on Ludwig, diving, and oh, what a play by Ryan Ludwig in right field to take the hit away from Braun. Outstanding play from Ryan Ludwig. Takes the hit away. 4-2 Milwaukee.
Randy Wynn, that could change. San Francisco could get in postseason. He's played almost 1,600 games. Seattle has no chance. Michael Young, I'll have to check with them. Detroit, Aubrey Huff could get in there. Dunn won't, and Catalanato will not. Bob Uecker, he got in postseason play with the Cardinals. There you see Mr. Baseball.
When he does a game on radio, and he's done it for a number of years with the Brewers organization, he does it straight. He's a straight man.
The first time I ever heard him do a broadcast, I was disappointed because I wanted to hear the comedy routine. Of course, it would have had to have been at the player's expense, but there was classic appearances on Johnny Carson.
I believe he had the most.
I was going to say, if he didn't have the most, he was in the top 2 or 3.
I talked to him a number of times about that, and he said on a few of those, he'd just go out there and just start doing whatever came to his mind. Good shot from the hip. 2 balls and no strikes on Holiday. And when he was on the national games, it was always fun hearing his perspective.
Now, John Smoltz wants to wish a happy 50th birthday to his good friend Joe Schwent. Good friend John Smoltz, St. Albans golf pro.
Deep left field. Did he do it again? Braun back, looks up. It's out of here. Home run for Matt Holliday. 21st of the season. Number 10 with the Cardinals. That's the lead to 4-3.
Well, that's a birthday wish for Joe Schwent, and hopefully we can get John Smoltz off the hook, as he's the pitcher of record on the losing side, as the Cardinals now trail by 1 on the 3rd hit of the afternoon by Holiday.
Now it's Ludwig. Cardinals down by just a run here in the 8th. Rasmus on deck. Oh, 0-2. And now Joe Schwent, a day over 32, Al.
When you get to be 50, it feels like 50.
0-2 pitch.
He doesn't look that old, does he?
No, real good guy. Happy birthday to Joe. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Ludwig. Ooh, just missed. A 2-2. Strikeout of Ludwig. So again, congratulations to Carpenter, the pitcher of the month in the National League. Over on the other side, CC Sabathia, as he goes 5-0 as well. Higher strikeouts and also a little higher ERA for Sabathia. 49 in the month.
See what they get for winning the Player of the Month?
Get the designed trophy and also HD LCD TV.
I won the Player of the Month one year, unanimous selection, and I got a clock radio that the plaque fell off.
So I'm assuming you don't have it anymore.
I do not.
Here's Colby Rasmus, 14 home runs. And he could tie it up with 1 swing of the bat.
Colby, 14 home runs, 46 RBIs, so you can see where he ranks against McGee.
Wondering about Trevor Hoffman. Last pitched Sunday against Pittsburgh and picked up his 29th save of the season. 6th in the league in saves with 29.
Yeah, and his next save, the all-time save leader, will be 14th year he's had at least 30 saves. Signed as a shortstop too, you know.
And that would extend his own major league record. 3-0. He walked him. So only 1 out. Your concern here with Molina is that he is a double play candidate. Let's see though if he can't pop one here. Molina has flied out, grounded out, and walked back in the 7th. Good work by Hawksworth out of the bullpen to score the innings, as he struck out 2.
Looks like Trevor Miller will be the first reliever used.
Fielder is due up first for the Brewers. And that's a strike. White Sox top of the 9th leading the Cubs 4-0. Mets in the top of the 6th. Big game for the Rockies. They lead Colorado 5-0. Uh-oh, he's picked off. Colby picked off at first base.
Just can't happen. False move, couldn't get back, never gets back to the bag. And that just could not happen when you're the tying run late in the ball game. No one feels worse than Colby.
The 0-1 pitch to Molina. 0-2. So 2 outs and nobody on. 37,791 here today.
Amazing crowds. I think that's the smallest of the homestand.
I believe so. I think every crowd has been over 40. Here comes an 0-2 pitch. Spoiled by Yachty.
And you'd have to say the difference is kids are back in school.
Yeah, you're right.
So Trevor Miller warming up. He'll be the first one now to shoot in the top of the 9th inning, and then Kyle McClellan will follow. Unless the Cardinals take the lead this inning.
One and 2. The next to Molina. Taken low and away, 2-2.
Off the plate, run the count full. Coffee warming up for Milwaukee. Yachty's sitting on 5 home runs.
Three, 2. Another walk. So again, the tying run at first base and potential go-ahead run at the plate.
pitches thrown by Vargas, 15 balls, 13 strikes. And Keel 0 for 3 in the afternoon. All three at bats against the starter Parra.
Fly to center, fly to right, and has struck out. Up and in.
Dan, the Cardinals were 20-6 in August, and each time the Cardinals lost, the Cubs lost.
Isn't that something? And that could be the case today too.
Exactly. Just looking, Sox are leading 4-0, batting in the top of the 9th inning.
1-1 pitch to Rick Ankiel. Upstairs, Troy Gloss on deck, who is double. He was part of a double switch. Here's a 2-1 pitch on its way. And Keel opposite way. That should stay in the ballpark, and it will. Braun is there. 8 innings in the books. 4-3 Milwaukee.
Up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. Pat Paris with Rick Horton, Ph.D., standing by. They'll break down John Smoltz's outing. They'll look at Manny Parra's surprising success, and we'll have post-game reaction straight from the Cardinal clubhouse. It's all coming up after the game. For now, it's back to Dan and Al, guys.
Okay, Jim, thanks. And here's Trevor Miller. He'll face Prince Fielder. 58th appearance, and lefties 8 for 81 against the Cardinal lefty. That also included that strikeout of Fielder in game 1 of this series.
Yep. Trevor has a win or a hold in 7 of his last 10 games. Kyle McClellan warming up, so you assume that it's just the one batter. Whether you strike him out or allow a home run, just one shot, one batter.
Shift on here for Fielder. A swing and a miss.
I don't know if I remember fielder swinging as hard as he has today. Well, he doesn't get cheated, but
I do. But you're right. I mean, he's taking huge cuts.
fastball away. Now that's 0-2, kind of wasted out there. Oops. Now comes even a more effective pitch. Up and in. Getting conscious of the inside part of the plate, and then you go back away with the slider. The slider away. Didn't want it. Fastball away. He leaves it up and in.
Starting with his debut back on August 23rd, John Smoltz had struck out at least one batter in every inning, as you mentioned. That's not a bad way to start, huh?
Yeah, first 14 innings for Smoltz, he struck out at least one batter.
Cardinals had a 2-run lead, and since then it's been the Brewers. It's now 4-3. Miller has to get over to cover. Lugo to Trevor Miller for the out.
Wow, apparently he's going to let him face a right hand.
Here's Casey McGee, 9 RBIs in the series, 2-run homer in the 6th, 2 home runs in this series, and he's our player of the game, presented by Budweiser. And Miller is going to get him. 2 outs. The Cardinals will have Gloss, Lugo, and Green, and if anybody can reach, then Albert Pujols coming up in the ninth. Mike Cameron, the hitter, with 2 outs and nobody on. Floats in there for a strike at 79 miles an hour.
Stretching Trevor out. And have a rare full inning to work.
Two and one the count with 2 outs. Cameron has flied out twice and also struck out back in the 6th. Popped up. So again, excellent work by Trevor Miller. 1, 2, 3 go the Brewers in the top of the ninth. Troy Gloss leads it off when we come back. to this ball game.
The all-time saves leader. Last pitched on Sunday against Pittsburgh, picking up his 29th save. That's tied for 6th in the National League. One more save, he'll have his 14th season of 30 or more saves. He has a major league record of 583 saves. He's got 15 20-plus saves, looking for his 14 30-run saves, and he has 9 40-plus saves. Quite a career.
Troy Gloss will lead it off for the Cardinals. It'll be Gloss, Lugo, and Green. If anybody can reach, then Pujols. Garrett is into the ball game. Jody Garrett, he's the right fielder for Milwaukee. Bottom of the ninth rolls in, and it's 4-3 Brewers. Chicago White Sox beat the Cubs 5-0. That is a final now. Detroit holds on against Cleveland 4-3. Top of the 7th, and the Mets lead Colorado 6-0. So here's Gloss. He picked up his first hit of the season with a double off of David Weathers in the 7th.
Change up, change up, change up.
And the first pitch at 80 miles an hour, a strike.
Trevor, at one time, as I said, he signed as a shortstop like his older brother Glenn, who's now the third base coach for the Dodgers, and he had like 4 good outstanding pitches early in his career, but now it's really, that's his fastball at 86. But he can change speeds on his changeup with great motion.
He keeps himself in terrific condition, always working out, and he attributes that to his longevity, no doubt. 0-2. 3 pitches, and Green, or rather Gloss, excuse me, strikes out.
He's trying to plead that he fouled that ball, but to no avail.
Lugo is 4 for 5 against Hoffman. Julio was part of our 5 and 55 yesterday, and we talked about this scenario right here. Lugo pushes the bunt. It's a fair ball, and it's a base hit.
Notice he bunted it hard enough not only to get by the pitcher, but to get by the third baseman, but bunted it at the shortstop area.
Such a key too, Al, because you get on, you stay out of the double play, Pujols hits.
Right, and you know, it's just a smart play, executed perfectly, the location where he bunted it, and really just pushed it hard enough so it gets by not only the pitcher but third baseman, and in the direction of shortstop, and the third baseman can't field it either.
And Lugo on base for the 4th time, and a swing and a miss by Khalil Green.
How about these two? This is kind of interesting. Is Leo coming to the big leagues with San Diego, and Trevor leaving this year after a long stay. Not his first day, but a long stay in San Diego.
Here's the 0-1. I'm sure for some of these Padres, it's got to be shocking to see the numbers that Green has put up the last 2 years after he was so productive. And maybe not knowing the extent of what he was dealing with personally.
Yeah, a couple years removed from that, what, 27 home runs and 90 plus RBIs.
0-2 the count. So Pujols on deck, 0 for 5 against Trevor Hoffman with a strikeout.
Trevor just has a great motion, and you think that fastball's coming, but then it just doesn't get there. You know, his motion is just identical to his fastball on the changeup.
0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just watching Pujols this entire at bat, just study Trevor Hoffman. Hasn't taken his eyes off him.
Albert would be doing that, or if he was 5 for 5 off a guy. But when you're 0 for 5, saying I still haven't figured him out.
One, two. And Khalil just got a piece. 73 miles an hour there. What it tells you is you don't have to throw 98 to have success, but you have to have pitches to get people out, but you also have to be able to locate. And he can do both.
Problem is with a lot of guys is, you know, they don't throw above or below the hitting zone. And they're right in the middle where it's just hitters just crush it. The 86-mile-an-hour fastball, that's in that zone where major league hitters just crush people, but you have a hard time centering it because it looks like it's about 96 after you're seeing those pitches in the low 80s or in the 70s that are below the hitting zone.
And Green strikes out. Brings in Pujols. Pujols last time up had the bases loaded against Vargas and grounded out to end the inning. Now it's 2 outs and a runner at first.
He hit his 8th walk-off home run on this homestand. That was the first time he did that, was or the 7th one was back in 06. Can he do 2 in one homestand?
2 outs, runner at first. First pitch to Pujols. A strike.
Gets ahead with a fastball.
Oh, 2.
Just can't wait back on that 73-mile-an-hour changeup. And remember, look, but you see the movement on it. Starts in a good location, bottom falls out, down and in, below the hands and out of strike zone. So a 13-mile-an-hour difference from the fastball to the changeup.
And Pujols strikes out against Trevor Hoffman, and the Brewers salvage a game in this series. Trevor Hoffman with his 30th save, and he's now done that 14 seasons in his great career. McGee, the big blast, the 2-run homer. The postgame show is coming up on Fox Sports Midwest.